Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So this video is going to be a kind of touchy subject type of video. I just felt the need to speak my mind, on these things because there's just entirely way too much craziness going on in our society, and I feel like we as women don't know our value and we don't know our worth, and especially young girls like yourself that may be watching this video. I just feel like a lot of us don't understand the reasons of why we were created and who we are and who we're meant to be and things like that, and it's just really hard. And I can speak from experience. I know when I was younger, I went through this phase with my mother, because I was at the time my mom was married, he was my stepdad, so that didn't stay for too much longer after all of this. But at that time I had at that time, especially around the age where you're becoming a preteen and you feel like you're growing into a young lady, and you're trying to get all your girliness together. Sometimes it's not always the best thing to want to push yourself to grow through all of those experiences so fast, because honestly it honestly hurt me in the long run. And I was the girl with daddy issues, honestly. Like from the beginning, I've always had daddy issues, trust issues. I just didn't, like I really don't trust anybody. Now it's different, but at that time I really didn't trust anybody. I really didn't know what it was like to be loved or to give love out, to express myself. So I spent a lot of my years with anger issues, with so many just different things that were just pulling me down. There was so much turmoil, and a lot of girls go through these phases and they have nobody else to talk to, they have nobody else to run to. And so for me, I was that girl that, like, I wanted to tell people, like, yo, I'm in pain, I'm hurting on the inside, and like I felt as though nobody would listen or nobody was willing to listen, because it seemed so deep of a hole for me. Nobody could help dig me out of it. So just like things that are happening, I mean, it's so many women just that degrade themselves, and it's a mental thing, it's an internal thing. I think that we carry ourselves a certain way because we want a certain type of attention. I really honestly believe that. So if you're the type of woman that is flaunting your money and what you worked hard for and what you got, then 9 times out of 10 those are the things that you value the most. Like, if you show your kids, if you show your husband or your boyfriend or whoever, because even some of us are young and married, so yes, some of us have husbands. But if you show those things, if you're more about putting out what you want to put out and keeping your privacy level to a certain extent, then you don't allow people or Satan the foothold over all of the things that are negative about you. Like I am saying, we are people that have a lot of sinful natures. Like, we're born sinful, and everything about us is fleshly desiring. What I'm saying? Like, we want to do things to make ourselves feel good. We do things like we get a job so we can have more money. We may get into relationships back to back because we don't want to be alone. We don't want to be by ourselves. And like, I wish that the 22-year-old me could have talked to the 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old me when I was not really necessarily understanding where my life was going at such a very young age. Because at that time, it's still an age of innocence until you're exposed to things, until you see things that you're not supposed to see, or you are experiencing things that maybe it's not not good for you. And you know, a lot of us blame the people around us. And honestly, I had to come to a point where I just said, you know what, it's okay that these are issues for me right now. It's okay that this is an issue, because this issue was created in some way in my life. And it's something that God wants me to walk through and grow through to help somebody else. So at this point, at the level of maturity spiritually that I'm at, I don't blame my mom or my dad for any of the things that I experience now, or I don't blame them for my childhood at all, because I feel like had I not went through it, then I wouldn't know the things that I know now. So, and God wouldn't have given me my own children to raise, and I'm on my fourth boy almost. So I feel like there's something special about me for God to want to give me 4 boys and however many, you know, children he's going to give me. But I feel like, man, we just have it so twisted. Like, as women, we just have it so twisted. Like, we pride ourselves on being hard and being that thug chick or that gangster chick, or this is where I'm from, so this is how I am. And I feel like that mindset is just really bad to have. It's really, really bad to have. It hurts you in so many ways that you can never understand. So I guess I'll tell you guys a story on why I'm saying all of this is because when I was 12 years old, my mom was married to my stepdad, and around that time my mom told me that my stepdad wasn't my dad. And the backstory to it is I had known my stepdad at the time. I had known him ever since I was like 5 or 6 or something like that. So seeing him all the time, in my head, he became, you know, my dad. And it didn't matter to me, I guess, in the innocence of not necessarily knowing like DNA and biological. It didn't matter to me at that time that, you know, he looked nothing like me and I looked nothing like him. Like, it didn't matter. In my head, it was just, in my heart, my mind, it was just, oh, he's here, you know, and finally I have like a complete family. And years go by, so I'm perfectly fine up until the age of 12 and 13. And my mom decides to tell me that, you know, my stepdad at the time wasn't my dad. And I went through this hopeful phase, literally up until the age of 17, like 16, 17. I went through like this really huge, like, dark phase. And it was literally from 12 to like 17. So it's like 5 years of like stuff, you know, that like I had to go through. And I can remember being 12 in the 6th grade, in middle school, just really trying to figure out like who I was, like, who am I? Like, one, I asked myself so many questions. I asked myself, one, why did my father not want to be around me? 2, where is he? Because I want to get to know him. 3, can we just, you know, be a family? Can we, you know, you ask yourself these questions because you're pretty confused about who is who, and you don't have confidence in yourself, and you don't feel like even your mother loves you enough to have, you know, giving you the gift of knowing who your father is. So it's just, it was hard for me. I just felt like my mom doesn't love me because she never told me, and I never knew, I never understood why she would wait until now to tell me. And for so many years I blamed her for those things, and I've walked through so many different things. I just really felt like mentally at that point it became so mentally ill, in a way where I was just stuck in this dark hole, literally just stuck in this dark hole. And so at 12 years old, I'm like spazzing out in school. I'm fighting in school. I remember like running away so many times, and the cops were involved. I remember being taken like downtown to go to jail, like, because I kept running away and my mom didn't know what to do with me. And I was really just having like this rebellious, like, adolescent attitude, frustrating, trying to figure, I just don't want to listen type of weirdness going on. Like, and even now where I'm at, I'm like, I understand why she walked through that, but I don't get it. Like, now at this point, I'm just like, don't allow the external to affect your internal. Like, and I know that's really hard to grasp as a child, or to grasp as a teenager, or as even a preteen. It can be really, really hard to grasp because you really haven't even walked through life yet. You really don't even really know like what to expect, or like where life's gonna take you. You don't even know when you know what I'm saying, what college you're gonna go to, because you're not even thinking about it. You don't even know what career you're gonna have because you're not really thinking about it. I walked through this phase at 12. I ran away, did things like that, and I got to the point where I kept hitting rock bottom, and I kept being in so much pain, and I kept. And then finally I got to the point to where I was able to meet my dad. And it had to been one of the most fulfilling things in the world. Like, for me, it was just like, oh, like, my dad is really here. Like, and I really can like touch his face. Like, you're really real. Like, you look so much like me, you know, and you are me. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are each other because I came from you. So at that time, it was really, really hard to know that I couldn't be around my dad all the time, and my mom and my dad couldn't be in the same place at the same time, and I didn't get a chance to experience their relationship. It was really hard for me. Even so much that I'm kind of tearing up now thinking about the little me. So a lot of things were really hard for me, honestly, and it sent me through a spiral of things. But I realized, because my dad wasn't there, and because he didn't spend time to take care of me, and because he didn't spend time to take me on a date, and because he didn't love me the way that he was supposed to, and because he rejected and abandoned me, I realized now that at that time, I was like going through life and searching for literally that same love that I'd always wanted. I was searching for that same acceptance. You know, I didn't want to be abandoned, and I was so torn that even in my little play relationships that I would get into, I wouldn't be as open to getting to know the person, or as open to loving the person. Like, I wasn't, but then I was. Like, it was like you move too fast, so you start doing things that you're not supposed to do, but then you move slow, because then you don't know the person. It's like, I don't really know you, but I do like you, you know, and you start having all of these weird feelings. And that's when you experience, you know, the little small puppy love relationships. And so from 12 to 14, I went through that phase of just really not knowing, running away, wanting to, you know, wear makeup, wanting to look a certain way, and wanting to grow up so fast. And I just didn't want to be like bothered with my mom. Like, she literally to me was like the dumbest person in the world. Like, why are you talking to me? Why are you telling me this stuff? Like, you don't care. My dad doesn't care, so I don't care. And that literally was my thought process. And for the longest, I walked in it, and I constantly battled with it. Like, why does this not make any sense to me? Like, who lives life and continues to walk through stuff like this? Like, this just does not make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. But I continue to do it to myself, and I continue to hurt myself. And I feel like a lot of women these days are doing that because they don't have just the foundation of a family. They don't have, in their mind, they don't see marriage. They don't see God. They don't see structure. They don't see that. So we as women function outside of all of that. Like, if you had a daddy, you probably 9 times out of 10 came out a little bit better than the group of us that didn't have one. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's because you had structure. It's because your dad was there. But sometimes, even in those situations, you can't necessarily speak on, because you don't necessarily know even how that person, you know what I'm saying, dad was. Like, my dad could have been here, but I could have had an alcohol and drug problem because that's what he has. You know what I'm saying? So I'm super thankful sometimes when I think about it, all the time, literally when I think about it, I'm super thankful because I know that had I grown up with my dad in my life, I would be way worse off at 22 years old, almost 23 years old. Like, I would be, girl, I would be like, oh, like off the map somewhere. Probably smoking, drinking, turning up, and just out there. Like, out there. Probably wouldn't care 2 cents about my children, myself, my family. What? Who are they? Like, literally, that's where I would be. And so I'm so happy that I didn't experience that early. I'm happy that my dad didn't stick around long enough to give me those really bad sinful natures, you know, and to pass them on to me naturally, because naturally we pass things on to our children. In the process of us living, we pass on bad things and good things to our kids, and that's why sometimes you could just look at your child and be like, you are all me, you know, or you could look at your sister or your mother or whatever and be like, we so much alike. It's ridiculous, because they pass literally their self onto you, and then you have your own stuff too, so you mix that and you become you. But yeah, so I don't know, I just wanted to come on here and talk about that, because I feel like it's really hard. Girls feel like nobody understands and nobody wants to listen, and I was once there. And when I say like my life is 100% better just because of God, I can't tell you guys, like, I literally cannot explain this on how I feel internally and how things have changed for me externally. Like, my dad isn't in my life right now, and at this point it doesn't bother me. Like, it doesn't bother me at all. Like, I pray for him, I wish nothing but the best for him, but I refuse to put myself in a position to where I can be ripped apart and torn down. And I was the teen pregnant mom, you know, at 15, 16, I was pregnant, you know, and at 17, 18, I got married. I did everything super early, but I'm so thankful for it. And I'm not saying that you should follow my footsteps. I'm giving literally this video because of what I don't want you to do. Like, don't make the same mistakes I did. Don't allow the fact that mommy and daddy isn't there to affect where you go in life. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't allow that to be your destiny. Change it. Be better. Be great. Like, do great things with yourself. Think higher than what everybody else around you is telling you. Like, people can tell you all day, you can't do it, you're not good enough. Like, bump that. I'm gonna be who I was meant to be, and even more than even what I think I'm meant to be, because God has so much more for me, so much more to give me, so many more blessings to give me. Like, if I just grasp the fact that I have to live life the right way, and I have to do things correctly, and I have to live by God's word, literally in God's word alone. Like, and I don't function under chaos and don't function under the world and how they conform me to want to make me think, you know, things like about myself. Like, if I don't show my body, then I'm not pretty. If I have freckles, then I'm weird. If I have curly hair, then I'm all these insecurities that we are just like so boxed in with. You know, just don't allow that to be your thought process. Like, love yourself so much that if a guy comes along, he has to work just as hard to love you and get in, you know what I'm saying, with you real good. Like, you ain't about to just come up in here, okay? If you're not trying to love yourself, and if you didn't come from, you know, a place of structure and foundation. Like, we can't have this if you don't love God, first of all. Second of all, we can't do this if you're not on the same page as I am, or if you're not trying to grow, you know, internally. Because internally, I feel like as we grow internally, everything externally just falls into place. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and really just give you guys some inspiration and some love, and tell you guys, I know that right now, wherever you may be, it may be really, really hard, and I understand, and I care so much that it brings me literally to tears. because I know that you're maybe watching this video and saying like, that's exactly how I feel. That's exactly me. And trust me, like, I get it, I understand. So yeah, I want you guys to leave some of you guys' stories down in the comments below as you come across this video. Subscribe, thumbs up, share it if you really loved it, love the message. And I will see you guys in my next video. Love you guys. Bye.